Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, it's a good one. I'm gonna teach you guys how to dive. So when I'm teaching diving, especially to like my younger girls, I try to make it as fun as possible because, you know, people don't really equate hitting the ground and, you know, fun together, right? But I can teach you a way to do it in a safe way, in a way that you won't get hurt. I've seen that happen. So yeah, let's get into it. The first thing that you're gonna need is to be wearing long sleeves, okay? And I say that because I could usually do this without, you know, long sleeves on because I'm used to diving, but if you're not, okay, it could hurt just a little bit. So you wanna just have sleeves on. So I have this jacket on, my arms are fully covered, so I would wear long sleeves. That's just my suggestion. If you don't want to, hey, go ahead, go ahead. Okay, so you're also gonna need some space, but you don't even need a ball. We're gonna incorporate the ball later on, but you really don't need one if you don't have one. Don't worry about it. There are multiple ways to dive. You can go forward, right, left, right. Okay, so let's start with learning how to dive to our right. I feel like that's like the most common for me because I'm dominant like with my right hand, right? So usually I'm more comfortable going to my right. So if I'm diving, it's usually to my right. But you know, you obviously will dive to your left too, but this way is a little bit more comfortable to learn first. So we are going to start by lunging, right? And stretching out, okay? We're just gonna hit the ground. We're not even gonna dive yet. So that motion is how you're going to dive, but when you are putting more speed behind it, you'll start diving, you know, more smoothly. And also we're on carpet, okay? So it's a little more cushioned than a hardwood floor. And so the dive will look a little different, but bear with me. So we're gonna lunge, stretch, extend out. And you might be wondering, Jacoby, why are we extending our arm like this? Because you want to pass the ball, right? Some people just dive to dive, and I don't understand people who do that. That was never me. So when you're extending, you're diving, and you want to extend your arm, and you still want to have it to where you can pass the ball cleanly, meaning that your platform is nice and open, your hand is kind of fisted, or you can keep it open, it doesn't really matter, and you want the ball to still hit you right here. Let's put that all together. Lunge, extend, we pass the ball, dive. And notice how I'm diving and landing on my hip. I'm not landing on my chest, because okay, let me show you what would happen if you did that. So you're diving, pass the ball, and you go frontwards, you're landing on your hips, and that hurts, right? So I feel like you have more cushion on the side of your leg, opposed to right here on the front where you're kind of like your hip bones are, like that's not fun. Okay, so you want to keep it all on an angle and land on your side. So let's put that all together. Lunge, extend, pass, ooh, dive. I'm gonna pretend like the ball's going over there. Oh, and then you're up. Now some people, they like to dive, pass, they're on the ground, and they stay there for a little bit watching the play. Now I'm guilty of doing this, okay? Don't do that. I'm gonna pass the ball, dive. You wanna scramble up as fast as possible because you wanna get back into the play. Now that's diving to our right. Let's talk about diving forward. It's a little bit different because you are gonna be on your front. You're gonna be landing on those hip bones, so you have to know how to do it correctly so you don't hurt yourself. So I try not to dive forward, mainly because if you're really having to move forward, you should be able to run and pass the ball, but sometimes, you know, we get caught lacking, and that's okay. The ball's out in front of us, we have to dive. Mind you, let me say this before we even get any further. Diving is last resort. I know people are like, oh, diving looks so cool. It's last resort because you should be moving your feet anyways, right? So if you're moving your feet, you shouldn't have to dive. So you really only dive when you absolutely have to. Also, it kind of hurts. Like, you don't want to have to do it, but it is good to know how to. So anyways, back to the tutorial. So say the ball's way out in front of you, you have to dive. You want to lead with your dominant leg. That's what I like to do. I like to lead with my right leg. That's just what I'm comfortable with, but you can always, you know, boop, go with your left. I see some people run out the ball, they pass the ball, and then they go down, and they land on their forearms. The ball's out in front of them, pass the ball, land on your forearms, and get up. But notice how I'm not like collapsing on my forearms because that is painful, right? So I guess if you're a little bit more advanced, this is something that you could do, but the ball's in front of you, pass the ball, you're diving, and notice how I'm sliding on my forearms. I'm going like this. I'm not passing the ball, I'm going like that. I'm not completely collapsing on the ball. I'm trying to ease my body into the floor and cushion as much as I can. We're gonna start again. So the ball's out in front of us. Pass the ball. Oh, dive. Notice how smooth that was, okay? Once again, please, I've seen people do this over and over again on the hardwood floor. Like they'll literally go vertical, right? Like their entire body is off the ground and they just land. Like they don't even try to cushion it. I'm like, what are you doing? Because mind you, when you're diving, you really don't want both of your feet to come off the ground when you're super high up, because that hurts and you lose control after that. So you want to dive and then your feet will be off the ground, but you're lower to the ground when that's happening. So let me show you. So dive. Ooh. Notice how my feet barely came off the ground because I don't like to flop and hit the ground. It hurts. So let's start from our knees again. Ball's out in front of you. Pass first. Remember that. Pass first. Boop. And then dive. And you don't have to kick your leg up like I did. That's just a habit that I have. But you can keep it flat. Some people like to call it like a dolphin dive. Like you're kind of emulating a dolphin, which is true. I can say that. That is true. So we're gonna pass. And then you want to dolphin dive and slide out into the floor. Now we're gonna practice going to our left. It's the same motion as going to your right. It might be a little bit more awkward for you once again if you're right-handed. It is for me, but you know, very necessary to learn. So we're going to lunge, pass, dive. And notice how I finished on my front that time. You can if you know how to control it. Once again, okay? So we're gonna practice this time landing on our side. So lunge, pass. Ooh. And I hope you can see my body on the ground, but this is how you wanna finish. Your leg is up, you're on your side, and your arm is extended, okay? You don't wanna be crunched up like this because you can hurt your shoulder doing that. So you can hurt your shoulder if you don't keep it extended. So that means that you're lunging, you pass the ball, and then you're diving. Notice how I'm extending my body, but say that you pass the ball, right? But then you just go like this and land on your shoulder. That's never good, right? We don't wanna do that, so make sure that you're extending your arm like so. So a great way to practice diving if you don't want to start from your feet, because it is more challenging obviously if you're starting from your feet and then diving, because there's more motion, a little bit scarier because you're kind of high off the ground, right? So you can always start on your knees and then go forward, right and left. So pass the ball, and ideally you want to get two hands on the ball, obviously. So think if you can get two hands there, great, but if you can't, last ditch effort, pop up the ball, dive. Now let's go to our left. Ball's just out of reach. Bam, pop it up, dive. Now, same for frontwards. It's in front of you. Oh, you passed the ball, dive. Once again, notice how I'm curving when I'm going out in front of me. Okay, are y'all seeing that motion? Are y'all seeing it? You'll see some girls who can dolphin dive, like a literal dolphin, like they'll be like, "Pew," and pop right up. I'm like, you know what, good for you. But me, I'm a little tall, you know, it's a little hard for me to do that, but some people are really, really good at it. I would suggest watching some liberos, like in the professional leagues, they're really, really good at that, and it's a great example for you. Okay, I'll try to do a full speed one each way so y'all can kind of see everything. So yeah, let's do it with the ball. Because ultimately you want to work up to where you're passing the ball and then diving. So I'll try to toss myself out in front. So we pass, dive. Oh. And over time, it will stop hurting, I promise. You just have to work on your technique, and honestly, you'll get used to it. It's kind of like when passing the ball used to hurt, maybe when you were a beginner, or when you're younger, but you kind of got used to it over time. That's kind of what happens with diving. All right, then let's go frontwards. Oh, fun, pop up, ready to go. But that is it for today's video, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure that you subscribe. Thank you so much for almost 9,000 subscribers. Like, what is going on? But I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.